Okay, we are coming in my senior sustainability project. We are going to brew a beer today. It is an oatmeal bourbon barrel stout. So you'll see my ingredients that I have here, and then our brewing instructions that I've written out here. We've got some oak that we're going to age with bourbon and throw in the secondary when we're all finished, but we're not using that today. This is the grain that I have here. We've got almost a pound of biscuit, half a pound of Munich, half a pound of brown, 3/4 pound of chocolate, half a pound. Okay, so we left off with the grain. These are our hops. We're not using a whole lot of hops for this because it's an oatmeal stout, so it's not going to be a real hoppy IPA type beer. We have our extract. This is a partial mash that we're doing here. If we did a full mash, if we did a full mash with all of this, it would take days. So we're just doing the partial. To show you what we did before, this is our brew kettle that we got from an old, it's just an old keg. We cut the top off of it, so we use that as our brew kettle now. Our plastic fermenters, here's one, there's another. We're also going to use a carboy when it's all said and done. That's glass, but we'll get there. Anyway, so right now we are at, see, right about 120-ish degrees. We want this to get up to 160, and then we're going to put our grain in here and mash it for about 45 minutes, and then we'll start the big brew process. Okay, at this point we just put our grain in, and we've got them in socks, and what we're doing here, it's called steeping your grain. So we're going to do this for about 45 minutes at 160 degrees. Then when we're done with that, we're going to start our boil stage, and that'll be a 60-minute boil with all the hops. But for now, we're just steeping grains for 45 minutes. All right, we just pulled the grain out. I threw in my malt extract, and we're about to get the boil going for the hops. Okay, we just hit our boil. We put our first pack of hops in. We're going to boil those at 60. We're between 200 and 210 degrees. You can see the hop goodness going in there right now. At the 20-minute mark, we'll add some more hops. We'll do a burn off, and then we'll start chilling. All right, we're holding strong at 210. We've got 20 minutes to go in the boil, so we're going to enter the last bit of hops. So that's half an ounce of golden. We got 20 more minutes. All right, this phase, the brewing is done. We've got the wort chiller in there. We're running cold hose all the way from out there. Cold hose is going into the copper tubing. It's running the water out, and that is cooling down our wort. We want to cool the wort down below 80 degrees. Once we get it below 80, we can pitch the yeast and then throw it in the primary fermenter right here. So at this point, we're just playing a waiting game to get down to 78 degrees. All right, we are 24 hours post-brewing. So fermentation day 1, you can see all those bubbles going there out the top port. That means we have happy yeast. They are going to town on all the natural sugars in there. So ETOH is being produced from that right now. Anyway, so this is a good sign at 24 hours. We'll check back in a couple days. Okay, here we are 48 hours post putting it in the primary fermenter. You can see the bubbles are slowing down quite a bit, which means the yeast are starting to eat all they can. I anticipate it will be stopped within the next 24 hours, and from that point we'll go on and put it in the secondary fermenter. Alright, we are 72 hours post-brew day. We're getting a bubble every probably 30-40 seconds, which means the yeast are really dying down big time. So I anticipate by this time tomorrow they'll be done, and we will be throwing in a secondary fermenter. We'll do more from there. Okay, we are 6 days in here on our primary fermenting stage. You see our primary fermenter there. I pulled it outside. This is our secondary fermenter. We call it glass carboy. So I've rinsed it out with some Star San, which is a sterilizing agent for the inside of it to keep the beer sterile. Now what we're going to do is transfer the beer from the primary to the secondary. That's mainly going to clear it up, and then I'm going to add what you see, a small bag down there. That is dark oak chips that I've had soaking in bourbon for 24 hours. So we're going to put that in the secondary as well, and from there that's going to give us our bourbon barrel taste. So we will chime in a minute. Okay, here I have the top off the primary fermenter. That thing you see on top of it is my auto siphon. So I sterilized that as well, put the tip in the secondary fermenter. So you pump it up a few times on the left, and then it just starts flowing on its own. I will slowly adjust it down to feed it in, and over the next several minutes we will move from our primary to our secondary. Alright, everything is in the secondary fermenting stage now. You can see the bung I have on top. That little thing on the very top will let air pressure come out, but it won't let anything go in. You put vodka on top of that, actually, to keep it nice and sterile. Gotta love vodka. So we're up to 4.5 gallons now. I know that because I have a marker on the back side of this carboy. So we started with, what, 5.5 total. After brewing and all of that burn off, we're to about 4.5 now. If we come up here, we can look in what was in the primary. You can see all that in there. That's what we call yeast cake. That's all yeast and grossness that we're just going to keep out of the beer. We'll fill you in next time. Okay, today is day 15. We're going to bottle today. We're going to take it out of the primary fermenter, or the secondary fermenter that you see there, and we're going to get it into all of these big old bomber bottles. Alright, you can see I came outside to do this because you make a bit of a mess bottling this beer. I put my auto siphon in there, siphoned into all of these big bottles we see here, put the boiled caps on top of there, and then used my little cap tool there to get them on secure. So I will put these in storage, and we will open them up probably come Derby here in a week or two. So that's the whole process right there.